Okay, so if you're a product manager, you've already surfed the waves of mobile, cloud, and AI. But the next one, it's different. This isn't just another update, it's a complete rewrite of the fundamental laws of computation. So, welcome to the quantum era. Let's dive into what this really means for your role, your products, and honestly, your entire career.
And look, don't think for a second this is some far-off sci-fi future. Quantum tech is moving out of the physics lab and onto product roadmaps right now. The ground is literally moving under our feet as we speak. The PMs who get out ahead of this are going to define entire new markets. And those who wait, well, they risk getting left behind in the dust.
To get a handle on just how big this is, think back to the mobile era. It didn't just give us smaller screens, right? It totally upended business models, user expectations, the whole shebang. The quantum era is the next revolution on that kind of scale. It is a once-in-a-generation platform shift, and we are standing at the very, very beginning of it.
Okay, so what is this quantum shift, really? The first thing to do is just forget the idea that this is just a faster computer. It's not. It's a completely new way of calculating that lets us tackle problems that we used to consider literally impossible. It changes the definition of what can be achieved.
All right, let's make this real. Think about global logistics. A regular computer has to check routes, one by one by one. A quantum computer? Nope. It looks at all possible routes at the exact same time. A problem that takes a supercomputer days to churn through could be solved in seconds. Just try to imagine the impact that has on global supply chains.
Or how about this one, drug discovery? Simulating a complex molecule is one of the hardest problems you can throw at a classical computer. But here's the magic trick. Quantum computers operate using the same quantum rules as molecules. So it's like they're speaking the same language. This means they can simulate them with incredible accuracy, potentially shrinking drug development from a decade down to just a few days.
And believe me, it doesn't stop there. That same insane power, it can also shatter today's encryption, create fundamentally new kinds of AI models, and even let us design revolutionary new materials literally atom by atom. This is a foundational, bedrock-level change to technology as we know it.
All right, so we've seen what quantum can do. Now let's talk about the big question. What does this mean for you? How does this redefine the job of a product manager? Well, it shifts your role from someone who just executes a plan to someone who navigates a brand new technological frontier.
You know, for a long time, the PM role has been mostly about execution, right? You get a roadmap, you understand the tech, and your job is to deliver on it, sprint after sprint. You're the one making sure the train runs on time.
But now, in the quantum era, your job title basically changes. You become a tech navigator. Your number one job is to cut through all the noise, all the hype, and figure out what's real. You have to understand the strategic implications of this new power and ask the tough questions about feasibility and risk, not just for this quarter, but for 5 years from now.
And this isn't just a small tweak. It requires a complete rewiring of how you think. So the old way of thinking is, hey, how can we make this delivery route 5% more efficient? The new quantum way of thinking is, wait, what if we could calculate every single possible route on the planet instantly? It's a jump from making things better to making things possible.
And that shift in thinking, it completely changes your day-to-day tools, starting with the roadmap. Forget that straight, linear track with all its neat little milestones. That's gone. Because quantum tech is so new and uncertain, your roadmap has to become more like an adaptive, branching tree of possibilities. You're planning for multiple futures at once, depending on how the tech develops.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, how on earth do I actually do this? Well, you're going to need a new playbook. This next part is all about the essential skills, the new vocabulary, and the frameworks you'll need to not just get by, but to actually lead in this new era.
All right, first things first, take a deep breath. Relax. You do not need to go get a PhD in quantum physics. Phew. What you do need is something we're calling quantum awareness. This is all about learning a new vocabulary, just enough to ask smart questions, understand the answers you get, and see through the hype that vendors are absolutely going to throw at you.
And here's a little cheat sheet of that new vocabulary. Yeah, qubit count sounds impressive. That's the raw horsepower. But the really important one is coherence time. That tells you how long you can actually use that power before it all falls apart. Knowing these terms lets you ask the killer questions like, what's your error rate? And the big one, is this a genuine quantum advantage or are you just using a fancy new hammer? With great power comes a whole new set of risks you have to manage. Your strategic thinking has to get wider. Think about security. It's now on you to lead the charge to what's called post-quantum cryptography, because frankly, all our current standards are on a ticking clock to obsolescence. And you'll have to keep an eye on a whole new world of compliance and regulations.
Okay, let's get super practical for a second. Your first quantum-powered products, they're not going to be pure quantum, not even close. They're going to be hybrid systems. Picture a stack, you've got your normal user interface up top, then some data prep in the cloud, and then you sent just the hardest part of the problem to a tiny, powerful quantum kernel. Your job is to manage the flow across this entire new kind of stack.
And look, this is not just some theory I'm spinning. Right now in healthcare, PMs are teaming up with bioinformatics experts. In supply chain, they're tying quantum projects directly to KPIs like cost per delivery. And in cybersecurity, the smartest companies are already piloting post-quantum protocols. This isn't the future of product management, it's happening now.
Okay, we've talked about the what, the why, and the how. Now, for maybe the most important part, your action plan. How do you actually turn all this talk into action, like today?
So, here it is, your strategic roadmap to get quantum ready. It's a simple 6-step process. Step 1, you just start building awareness inside your company. Then, you explore specific use cases that actually make sense for your products. You check if it's even feasible, build a tiny hybrid MVP, and manage it with that adaptive roadmap we talked about. Finally, you find experts and partner up. Each step builds on the last.
And to make this even less intimidating, let's break it down into a 30-day checklist, something you can actually do. Week 1, just book a call with a quantum vendor. Hear their pitch. Week 2, start an audit of your current data encryption. Week 3, get your key stakeholders in a room and just talk about the opportunities. And by week 4, pick someone on your team to be the official owner of quantum literacy. Simple steps that build real momentum.
So let's just wrap it all up with this one thought. This transition, it isn't coming anymore. It's here. It's happening inside the labs of your competitors right now. The question isn't if this is going to change product management. That ship has sailed. The real question is, how are you going to step up? Are you ready to lead your company into this new era?